The silent observer. The ESA Phantom drifted through the cold darkness of space, its heat signature negligible, its radar profile almost non-existent. By all standard detection methods, the ship simply wasn't there, a ghost among the stars. And that was exactly how Commander Ilara Voss preferred it. Status report. Ilara said, her voice barely above a whisper despite the fact that sound couldn't travel through the vacuum outside. Old habits from stealth operations training died hard. Lieutenant Maya Chen glanced up from her console. All systems nominal, Commander. Quantum cloak holding at 98% efficiency. We're effectively invisible. Ilara nodded, studying the holographic display that dominated the center of the bridge. It showed the remains of Outpost Epsilon 7, once a thriving human colony of 30,000 souls. Now it was nothing but debris and radiation. Any signs of the attackers? She asked. Negative, Commander, replied Tactical Officer Ramos. They were gone before we arrived, just like the last 3 colonies. Ilara's jaw tightened. This marked the 7th human settlement destroyed in the past 3 months. The pattern was always the same. All communication suddenly ceased, and by the time investigation ships arrived, they found only ruins and radiation with a unique signature unlike any known weapon. Earth Central Command was baffled. With humanity spread across 47 star systems, their military was stretched thin. When reports of the attacks first came in, many dismissed them as isolated incidents, pirates, or perhaps a territorial dispute gone wrong. But Ilara knew better. The precision, the totality of the destruction, the absence of any attempt to salvage resources. This wasn't the work of pirates. This was something else, something methodical, something that considered humans an inconvenience to be removed. Commander, Lieutenant Chen called out, her voice suddenly tense. I'm detecting unusual energy fluctuations in Sector 9. Ilara moved to Chen's station, studying the readings. Magnify. The holographic display zoomed in on a region of seemingly empty space. For a moment, nothing appeared unusual. Then, like a ripple across still water, space itself seemed to distort. What the hell is that? Ramos whispered. Before anyone could answer, a massive ship materialized where empty space had been moments before. It was unlike any vessel Ilara had ever seen. Asymmetrical, with sections that seemed to phase in and out of normal space. Its surface was a deep iridescent black that absorbed rather than reflected light. Stealth mode. Ilara commanded instantly. All non-essential systems offline. Divert all power to the quantum cloak. The bridge lights dimmed as the Phantom disappeared even more completely into the void. Ilara held her breath, watching as the alien vessel moved with impossible grace toward the debris field that had once been Epsilon 7. Are they scanning? She asked. If they are, it's not technology I recognize, Chen replied. No detectable active scanning signatures. The alien ship extended what appeared to be collection appendages, gathering samples from the debris field methodically. They're studying their handiwork, Ramos said, disgust evident in his voice. Record everything, Ilara ordered, but maintain absolute silence. We observe only. For 3 hours, they watched as the alien vessel conducted its survey. Finally, it retracted its appendages, and without any visible propulsion system, accelerated away at speeds that should have been impossible without creating a massive energy signature. Track its course, Ilara ordered as soon as the ship was at a safe distance. Heading toward the Procyon system, Chen reported. If they maintain current speed, they'll reach it in approximately 7 hours. Ilara felt ice form in her stomach. That's where the Galileo Research Station is located. Over 5,000 civilians. The bridge fell silent as the implications sank in. Orders, Commander? Ramos finally asked. Ilara hesitated. Their mission was clear. Observe and report back to Earth Central Command. The Phantom was an intelligence vessel, not a warship. Its experimental quantum cloak made it perfect for reconnaissance, but required most of the ship's power, leaving little for weapon systems. Set course for Procyon, she decided. Maximum stealth. We'll continue observation and warn Galileo if possible. Commander, Ramos objected. Our orders. I know our orders, Lieutenant. Ilara cut him off. But I'm not going to sit back and watch 5,000 people die if there's a chance we can prevent it. The journey to Procyon was tense and silent. The Phantom followed the alien vessel at a safe distance, recording every movement, every energy fluctuation. When they finally reached the Procyon system, Ilara ordered a tight beam communication to Galileo's station, hoping it wouldn't reveal their position. This is Commander Ilara Voss of the ESS Phantom to Galileo Research Station. You are in imminent danger. Prepare for immediate evacuation. I repeat, prepare for immediate evacuation. For several agonizing moments, there was no response. Then, ESS Phantom, this is Director Kepler of Galileo Station. We were not informed of any Earth vessel in our vicinity. Please authenticate. Ilara entered her command codes, knowing that every second of communication increased their risk of detection. Authentication confirmed, came Director Kepler's voice. But Commander, we have over 5,000 personnel. Evacuation would take days, not hours. You don't have days, Director, Ilara responded grimly. You may not even have hours. We've been tracking an unidentified vessel that we believe is responsible for the destruction of 7 colonies, including Epsilon 7. It's heading directly for you. There was a pause before Kepler responded, his voice noticeably shaken. Understood. We'll begin emergency protocols immediately. But Commander, we'll need help. Ilara closed her eyes briefly. Her orders were clear. Observe, don't engage. The Phantom wasn't built for combat or rescue operations, but she couldn't simply watch another massacre. We'll do what we can, Director. Phantom out. She turned to her crew. Options. Chief Engineer Takumi Sato spoke up for the first time. Commander, we could attempt to divert the alien vessel. The Phantom's quantum drive creates unique spatial distortions. If we calibrate it correctly, we might be able to create a false signature that would draw their attention away from Galileo. That would mean revealing our presence, Ramos pointed out. Yes, Ilara acknowledged. But if it saves 5,000 lives, I'm willing to take that risk. Before they could implement Sato's plan, Lieutenant Chen called out, Commander, I'm detecting multiple new signatures entering the system. The holographic display updated to show 3 small vessels fleeing from what appeared to be 2 pursuit craft. The design of the pursuers matched the alien vessel they had been tracking. The lead ship is transmitting a general distress signal, Chen reported. It's not in any language I recognize, but the format is standard for emergency communication. Can we intercept? Ilara asked. Chen worked her console, translating now. It's identifying itself as a refugee transport carrying survivors from something called the Purification. They're requesting asylum from any civilization capable of offering protection. The pursuing alien vessels fired upon the refugee ships, destroying one instantly. The remaining 2 scattered, desperately trying to evade. Commander, Ramos said, the larger alien vessel is accelerating toward Galileo. These smaller craft appear to be some kind of advance force. Ilara made her decision. Weapons online. Target the pursuit craft. Let's see if we can even the odds for those refugees. The Phantom decloaked, diverting power from its stealth systems to weapons. The ship's pulse cannons fired, catching the alien pursuers by surprise. One of the alien craft exploded immediately. The other turned to face this new threat, but the Phantom's superior maneuverability allowed it to evade the return fire. Direct hit, Ramos reported as their second volley struck home. Second pursuit craft disabled. Open a channel to the refugee vessels, Ilara ordered. A moment later, a strange face appeared on the main screen. The being had crystalline features, with eyes that seemed to shift color as it moved. When it spoke, its mouth didn't move. Instead, Colors rippled across its translucent skin. "Unknown vessel," came a synthesized voice as the translator worked to convert the alien's communication. "You have our eternal gratitude. I am Sala, navigator of the Krell Collective. We seek sanctuary from the Dominion. I am Commander Ilara Voss of the Earth Space Service." Ilara responded. "We can offer temporary protection, but we have our own situation. There's a research station in this system with thousands of people who need evacuation before that larger vessel arrives." The alien, Sala, seemed to shimmer with intensity. "The harvester approaches. Then it is already too late. Once a system is marked for purification, the Dominion does not relent." "What exactly is this Dominion?" Ilara demanded. "And what do they want?" "They are the self-appointed guardians of cosmic purity," Zala explained. "They believe that certain forms of life, particularly those that rely on specific biochemical processes, are a contamination of the universe. They seek to purify space by eliminating these forms of life. My people, the Krell, were among the first to be targeted. Your species appears to be their new focus." The implication staggered Ilara. This wasn't just about a few colonies. This was about the potential extinction of humanity. "How do they destroy entire colonies so quickly?" she asked. "They employ a weapon we call the Unmaker," Sala replied. "It alters the fundamental forces within matter, causing a chain reaction that converts all organic material to base elements. It is efficient." "Commander," Chen interrupted urgently. "The main Dominion vessel will reach Galileo Station in 20 minutes. Director Kepler reports evacuation has only just begun." Ilara made a rapid series of calculations. "They'll never get everyone out in time." She turned back to Xala. "These refugee ships of yours, can they take on additional passengers?" "Yes, but not thousands," Sala admitted. Ilara turned to her chief engineer. "Sato, you mentioned creating a spatial distortion with our quantum drive. Could we use it to interfere with this Unmaker weapon?" Sato considered. "Theoretically, yes. The quantum drive manipulates space-time. If their weapon operates on similar principles, we might be able to create a counter-resonance. But, Commander, it would require getting dangerously close to the Dominion vessel, and we'd have to drop our shields to channel enough power." "A suicide mission," Ramos said quietly. Ilara looked around at her crew. 23 of Earth's finest, handpicked for this experimental vessel. They had all known the risks when they volunteered. "I won't order anyone to do this," she said. "But I'm going to try to save those people. Anyone who wants to evacuate can take the auxiliary craft and escort as many refugees from Galileo as possible." Not a single crew member moved. Lieutenant Chen straightened in her seat. "Orders, Commander." Ilara felt a surge of pride. "Set course for the Dominion vessel. Let's show these guardians of cosmic purity that humanity isn't so easy to erase." The Phantom accelerated toward its confrontation with the massive Dominion harvester, while behind them, the desperate evacuation of Galileo Station continued. Unknown to Ilara and her crew, their actions had just changed the course of human history, and perhaps the fate of the galaxy itself. As the Phantom approached the massive Dominion vessel, Ilara could feel the weight of thousands of lives resting on her shoulders. This wasn't just about saving Galileo Station anymore. If Sala was right, this was the first stand against a force that threatened all of humanity. "Approaching optimal range for drive activation," Seto reported. "The Dominion vessel is charging some kind of energy matrix," Ramos added, consistent with Sala's description of the Unmaker weapon. Ilara took a deep breath. "Initiate quantum drive modulation. Target the energy matrix." The Phantom's engines began to emit a high-pitched whine as Seto redirected power from every available system. The lights on the bridge flickered, and several non-essential consoles went dark. "They detected us," Chen warned. "They're redirecting their weapon." "Hold course," Ilara commanded. The massive Dominion harvester turned, its strange, asymmetrical form shifting as it brought its main weapon to bear on the tiny human vessel that dared to challenge it. A beam of energy, Not light, but something that seemed to distort the very fabric of space, lashed out toward the Phantom. "Now, Sato," Ilara shouted. The quantum drive activated, creating a bubble of distorted space-time around the Phantom. When the Dominion weapon struck this field, the result was beyond anything they had anticipated. The energy didn't simply dissipate, it reflected, amplified, and rebounded. The feedback hit the Dominion vessel like a physical blow. Sections of its hull began to dissolve, turning into base elements just as Stala had described happening to organic matter. The massive ship listed to one side, its weapon systems fluctuating wildly. "It's working," Ramos exclaimed. But the victory was short-lived. The Phantom's quantum drive, never designed for this kind of application, began to overload. "Drive stability at 30% and falling," Sato reported, his hands flying over his console. "We can't maintain this for more than another minute." Ilara made a rapid decision. "Prepare to disengage and withdraw to minimum safe distance." Before they could comply, a massive energy surge from the damaged Dominion vessel struck the Phantom. The ship shuddered violently, and several systems exploded in showers of sparks. "Hull breach on decks 3 and 4, Chen called out over the blare of alarms. "Emergency bulkheads engaging. Weapons offline," Ramos added. "Shields at 12%. The Phantom drifted, wounded but not defeated. Through the main viewport, Ilara could see the Dominion harvester was in even worse condition. Large sections of its structure now simply gone, converted to base elements by its own weapon. "Status of Galileo Station?" Ilara asked. "They managed to evacuate approximately 2,000 personnel," Chen reported. "The Krell vessels are assisting with the evacuation. It wasn't everyone, but it was something. And they had proven that the Dominion wasn't invincible." "Commander," Sato said urgently, "the Dominion vessel's power core is becoming unstable. I'm detecting a cascade reaction building." "Get us out of here," Ilara ordered. "Maximum speed, any functioning engine." The Phantom limped away as the Dominion harvester began to break apart from within. Moments later, a blinding flash lit up the Procyon system as the alien vessel detonated, the explosion magnified by whatever exotic technology powered its terrible weapon. When the light faded and sensors came back online, there was nothing left of the Dominion harvester but scattered debris. "Confirm Galileo Station status," Ilara ordered, her voice hoarse. "Station intact," Chen confirmed. "Evacuation continuing." Ilara allowed herself a moment of relief before reality reasserted itself. They had won this battle, but from what Salah had said, the Dominion was vast. This was just one ship. "Open a channel to Earth Central Command," she ordered. "Priority Alpha. They need to know what we're facing." As the communications officer worked to establish a secure connection, Salah's ship approached the damaged Phantom. "Commander Voss," the alien synthesized voice came through. "What you have done here was thought impossible. No one has ever successfully repelled a Dominion harvester before." "We got lucky," Ilara replied honestly, "and we nearly destroyed ourselves in the process." "Perhaps," Zala acknowledged. "But you have given my people something we had lost. Hope. The Krell would stand with humans against the Dominion if you would have us as allies." Ilara looked around at her battered bridge, at her injured but determined crew. "I think we're going to need all the allies we can get, Navigator Zala. The real fight is just beginning." As the Phantom limped back toward Earth, carrying news of both a terrible new threat and potential new allies, Ilara Voss knew that the galaxy had changed forever. Humanity would not go quietly into the night. They would stand and fight, not just for themselves, but for all species threatened by the Dominion's twisted vision of purity. The silent observer had done its job. Now it was time for thunder. The thunder strikes. The Lunar Defense Command Center buzzed with tense activity, a sharp contrast to the serene view of Earth that dominated the massive viewport. Top military officials from across the United Earth Alliance had gathered in response to the urgent priority Alpha transmission from the ESS Phantom. Commander Ilara Voss stood at attention before Admiral Helena Chen, the highest-ranking officer in Earth's space fleet. The Admiral's weathered face remained impassive as she reviewed the data one final time. "Let me be clear, Commander," Admiral Chen said finally. "You're telling us that an alien force called the Dominion has been systematically destroying our outer colonies because they view our biochemistry as cosmic contamination." "Yes, Admiral," Ilara replied. "And according to our Krell allies, they won't stop until every human in the galaxy has been purified." The Admiral's gaze shifted to Xala, who stood quietly beside Ilara. The crystalline alien had insisted on accompanying the Phantom back to Earth to personally testify about the Dominion threat. "And your people have been fighting this enemy for how long?" Chen asked Xala. "3 of your Earth years," Xala responded, colors rippling across their translucent skin as the translator converted their thoughts to speech. "The Krell Collective once spanned 17 star systems. Now we exist only as refugees." A murmur ran through the assembled officers. General Santos of the Marine Corps leaned forward. "With all due respect, if your more advanced civilization couldn't stop them, what chance do we have?" "The Krell were unprepared," Xala acknowledged. "We were scientists and explorers, not warriors. Humanity possesses something my people lacked: adaptability." And they added, gesturing toward Ilara, "You have already accomplished what we could not. You damaged a harvester." Admiral Chen studied the holographic projection of the battle data recorded by the Phantom. "This quantum drive modulation that reflected their weapon, can it be replicated?" Chief Engineer Sato stepped forward. "The principle is sound, Admiral, but our execution was crude and nearly destroyed the Phantom. With proper research and development, we could create a more stable countermeasure." "How much time do we have?" Chen asked. Ilara exchanged glances with Xala before responding. "Based on the Dominion's previous patterns and the data we recovered from the damaged pursuit craft, we believe they'll send another harvester to investigate when the first doesn't report back. Conservative estimate, 3 weeks." The command center erupted in urgent conversation. 3 weeks to prepare for an enemy that had already destroyed 7 colonies without breaking stride. Admiral Chen silenced the room with a raised hand. "Then we have work to do. Commander Voss, you and your crew will work directly with our R&D teams to develop this countermeasure. General Santos, begin evacuation of our most vulnerable colonies immediately. And," she turned to Xala, "we would welcome any assistance your people can provide." Xala's form shimmered with what Ilara had come to recognize as determination. "The Krell stand with humanity, Admiral." As the meeting dispersed, Ilara found herself looking out at the blue-green sphere of Earth, home to 11 billion humans. Most of them had no idea of the threat that loomed just beyond their peaceful skies. "Beautiful world," Xala commented, joining her at the viewport. "I understand now why your kind fights so fiercely to protect it." "It's not just about Earth," Ilara replied. "It's about the right of all species to exist without being judged as impure." Xala's colors shifted to a deep blue. "The Krell believe the same. It is why, despite our losses, we still resist." "Commander," interrupted Lieutenant Chen, approaching with a data tablet. "R&D has already begun analyzing our quantum drive data. They want us at the Ganymede facility immediately." Ilara nodded. "Duty calls." The next 2 weeks passed in a blur of feverish activity. Earth's finest scientists worked alongside Krell technologists, developing a weapon that could turn the Dominion's purification technology against them. Meanwhile, military forces mobilized on an unprecedented scale, and colonies in vulnerable sectors began emergency evacuations. The Phantom, repaired and upgraded, became the testbed for the new countermeasure technology. But progress was frustratingly slow. "The principle is sound," Dr. Aisha Rahman, the lead quantum physicist, explained during one particularly tense meeting. "But stabilizing the field at the necessary strength requires more power than most ships can generate. What about multiple ships? Ilara suggested. A coordinated network of smaller fields. Dr. Raman's eyes widened. That might actually work. Instead of one massive countermeasure, we create a web of interlocking fields. The breakthrough came just in time. 3 days later, long-range sensors detected the approach of 3 Dominion harvesters, heading directly for Earth. In the Grand War Room of Lunar Command, Admiral Chen addressed the assembled fleet captains. The enemy will reach our outer defense perimeter in 18 hours. Our strategy is 3-pronged. Evacuation ships will continue ferrying civilians from Earth to the emergency shelters on Mars and Titan. Our main battle fleet will engage the Dominion vessels directly, not to destroy them, but to hold their attention. She turned to Ilara. Meanwhile, Commander Voss will lead a special task force equipped with the new quantum countermeasure systems. Your mission is to penetrate the Dominion formation and activate the countermeasure network when all 3 harvesters are within range. A kill box, one of the captains murmured. Exactly, Chen confirmed. We turn their purification technology against them. As the briefing concluded, Ilara found herself approached by an unexpected figure. Director Kepler from Galileo Station, now serving as a civilian advisor to the military. Commander Voss, he said, extending his hand. I never properly thanked you for saving my people at Procyon. Ilara shook his hand. We didn't save everyone. No, he acknowledged solemnly. But those you did save are fighting alongside you now. That counts for something. Later, aboard the Phantom, Ilara addressed her crew one final time before the mission. I won't sugarcoat this, she told them. We're heading into the heart of the enemy formation. The countermeasure technology is untested at this scale. If it works, we save Earth. If it doesn't. She let the thought hang unfinished. They all knew the stakes. It has been my greatest honor to serve with each of you, she concluded. Now let's make sure humanity has a future worth serving. The fleet departed Luna orbit in perfect formation minus 255 vessels, representing the largest military force Earth had ever assembled. Among them were 17 Krell ships, their crystalline hulls refracting starlight in dazzling patterns. The Phantom led a special task force of 12 vessels, each equipped with the experimental countermeasure technology. They would need to get dangerously close to the Dominion harvesters for the plan to work. Contact in 30 minutes, Lieutenant Chen reported as they approached the designated interception point near the orbit of Jupiter. The massive gas giant loomed to their starboard side, its swirling clouds a backdrop to the coming battle. Ahead, space itself seemed to distort as 3 massive Dominion harvesters materialized from whatever dimensional technology they used for faster-than-light travel. They're larger than the one at Procyon, Ramos observed from tactical. Much larger. Indeed, each harvester was approximately the size of a small moon, their asymmetrical structures seeming to bend and shift, as if parts of them existed in different dimensions. Admiral Chen's voice came through the fleet-wide channel. All ships, commence Operation Thunderstrike. The human fleet divided according to plan. The main battle group accelerated toward the Dominion vessels, weapon systems blazing. Meanwhile, Ilara's task force activated their stealth systems and began their approach from below the ecliptic plane. Countermeasure status, Ilara asked. Systems charged and synchronized, Sato reported. All task force vessels reporting ready. The main battle was already underway. Earth's fleet fought valiantly, but the Dominion's technology was significantly advanced. Human ships exploded by the dozens as strange energies lashed out from the harvesters. They're charging their main purification weapons, Chen warned as the Phantom crept closer. Task Force, you need to activate now. We're not in optimal position. Ilara responded, watching as the formation of harvesters began to shift. We need all 3 in the field radius. We don't have time. Admiral Chen shot back. They're targeting Earth directly. Ilara made a split-second decision. Task Force, new formation. Pattern Epsilon. Focus on the lead harvester. The 12 ships quickly repositioned, surrounding the nearest Dominion vessel in a three-dimensional formation. "Activate countermeasures on my mark," Ilara ordered. 3, 2, 1, mark. 12 quantum field generators activated simultaneously, creating a web of distorted space-time around the lead harvester. The effect was immediate and spectacular. The massive alien vessel began to shimmer, parts of its structure seeming to fold in on themselves as the countermeasure interacted with its dimensional technology. "It's working," Seto exclaimed. But their success was short-lived. The other two harvesters, recognizing the threat, turned their weapons on the task force. 3 of the human ships exploded instantly. "Field integrity compromised," Seto warned. "We can't maintain the countermeasure." The partially affected harvester began to recover, its systems adapting to the human technology. It was the moment Ilara had feared. They had revealed their trump card. And it hadn't been enough. "Task force, fall back," she ordered. "Admiral, the countermeasure was only partially effective. We need to regroup." Admiral Chen's response was grim. "Negative, Commander. We have no time. The harvesters are moving into final position for Earth." Ilara stared at the tactical display, watching as the 3 massive alien vessels formed a triangular pattern, energy building between them. According to Xala, this was the configuration for a planet-wide purification, an attack that would convert all organic matter on Earth to base elements in minutes. "There has to be another way," she muttered, her mind racing. Fahela, who had insisted on joining the mission despite the danger, approached her station. "Commander, there is something the Krell never attempted because we considered it too dangerous." "I'm listening." "Your countermeasure works by creating a quantum resonance that disrupts the Dominion's dimensional technology," Zella explained. "But instead of targeting their weapons, what if you targeted their communication network?" Ilara frowned. "What would that accomplish?" "The harvesters are not autonomous," Dala continued. "They receive continuous guidance from a command consciousness. If we could infiltrate that network, we could potentially access their central systems," Ilara finished, understanding dawning. "But that would require getting inside one of the harvesters." "Yes," Zella confirmed. "A small team with a portable quantum device might be able to penetrate their defenses while they're focused on the attack." It was a desperate plan, but they had run out of alternatives. "Admiral," Ilara called, "request permission for a direct infiltration mission." There was a long pause before Chen responded. "That's suicide, Commander." "Probably," Ilara acknowledged. "But it's the only play we have left." Another pause. "Permission granted. Godspeed, Commander Voss." Ilara turned to her crew. "I need volunteers. This is strictly." "I'm going," Lieutenant Chen said immediately. "Me too," added Sato. In the end, Ilara selected a 4-person team. Herself, Chen, Sato, and Xala, whose knowledge of Dominion systems would be invaluable. They boarded the Phantom's assault shuttle, equipped with the portable quantum device, and whatever weapons they could carry. The Harvester's dimensional shifting creates periodic weak points in their hull structure, Zella explained as they approached. "We must time our entry precisely." The shuttle accelerated toward the lead harvester, dodging debris from destroyed ships and energy blasts from the ongoing battle. Seto monitored the alien vessel's energy patterns, looking for the predicted fluctuation. "There," he called out. "Port side, lower quadrant." Chen piloted the shuttle directly toward the indicated spot, a section of the harvester's hull that seemed to shimmer and phase between dimensions. For a heart-stopping moment, it appeared they would simply crash against solid matter. Then they were through, inside a cavernous space that defied normal geometry. "We're in," Chen confirmed, bringing the shuttle to rest on what appeared to be a flat surface. The interior of the harvester was unlike anything Ilara had ever seen. Corridors branched in impossible directions, some seeming to loop back on themselves. The walls pulsed with bioluminescent patterns that conveyed information in an alien language. "This way," Zala directed, leading them deeper into the vessel. The primary consciousness node should be at the center. They encountered surprisingly few Dominion entities, most resembling floating clouds of metallic particles that barely acknowledged their presence. Zala explained that most of the harvester was automated, with only a small contingent of actual Dominion beings aboard. They don't perceive us as a threat, Zala said. Their arrogance is their weakness. Finally, they reached what appeared to be a central chamber. A pulsating crystalline structure dominated the space, threads of energy connecting it to the walls and floor. The node, Zala confirmed. Quickly, the quantum device. Sato carefully set up the portable countermeasure generator while Chen stood guard. Ilara helped Zala interface with the alien technology, using modified components from the Phantom systems. Something's wrong, Zala suddenly said, their crystalline form fluctuating with alarm. This isn't just a control node. It's aware. The room's lighting shifted, focusing on the intruders. A voice seemed to emanate from the walls themselves, speaking in a language that hurt Ilara's ears. The translator struggled to convert it. Contamination detected, it finally managed. Purification protocols engaged. Hurry, Ilara urged as Sato frantically worked to activate the quantum device. It's not accepting the algorithms, he reported. There's some kind of dimensional barrier. Zala moved closer to the crystalline node, placing their hands directly on its surface. I can create a temporary bridge. My species evolved from similar crystalline structures. Zala, no. Ilara protested, realizing what the alien intended. The feedback could kill you. Some prices must be paid, Zala replied simply. Activate the device when I tell you. Before Ilara could object further, Zala's form began to merge with the node, their crystalline body becoming part of the